Officially 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. So we'll go ahead and get started with our monthly PRTF provider call. First, I want to thank you guys for taking time to join us. And also, I want you guys, our providers, to be prepared because I may call on you to just give us some feedback. So it's getting hot at our facilities, Arkansas, our temperature is going up and down. So you may want to make sure that you guys are having your heating and air repair companies, make sure your systems are serviced and ready to go to try and prevent any issues of your facility being without air conditioning and appropriate parts. And also in thinking about that, I want you guys to think about like alternative plans. So if the air conditioning may be out in some portion of the building, how could you still accommodate the children and ensure they get all the services that they need? Basically, like do you have additional room? Are there other like say if it's your day room or something like that, do you have other areas in your building that you could still allow your children to use to receive their services or to still continue with their daily activities?
Hey, Shar, this is Helena from Perimeter of Forest City. We did just recently have this issue. And so initially we did have a plan in place, but for some reason yesterday people did not follow that plan. So we did have an issue with our air conditioner going out in our school in classrooms 2 and 3. So classroom 2, because it is our SRU program, they were supposed to do their school on the unit, and then classroom 3 was supposed to be going into classroom 5. However, we have gotten it fixed now, but we do have alternatives. So when we do have those issues where air conditioning isn't working in particular buildings, because our education, gym, and residential buildings are 3 different buildings, we do have alternative placements to put our residents until those issues have been resolved. But yesterday we did get that air situation resolved. It is very cool in all of our classrooms now and throughout our building. And I also did a walkthrough this morning with our maintenance team. Just making sure all of our air conditioners in our residence rooms are blowing correctly, the day rooms are blowing correctly. So just having that periodic check at this point, because it is getting warm and it's the breach of summer, just making sure we have a continuous just checking to make sure that everything is working properly on a week by week basis.
Thank you for that.
For those who are in like rural areas, do y'all have a hard time getting someone to come out to your agencies, like repairmen, maintenance men, or those type of businesses?
We have been real lucky in Monticello. We've got some good contacts. We have Middleton that comes every 3 months and services. Our front is on one unit, the back is on another. So a lot of times if one goes out, we're able to move the kids to the other area. But in these small towns, it's just the contacts you make as far as someone who can come out immediately and help us. Sometimes I have to get someone from Little Rock, but I try to use local. But so far, we have issues, but we're able to get them taken care of.
Is it better to have like a contract already with someone or just like hope and see? Like,
well, the smaller ones don't have contracts. The
okay.
folks, but now like Middleton is a contract, so they would come out at any time. And like I said, they come every 3 months and just change the filters and check everything.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your feedback on that. Wanted to talk a little bit about like our newsletter. Have you guys been receiving our monthly PRTF newsletter?
This is Helena again. We're receiving it every month. We're actually posting it in our comment area so that our employees are able to go over that information and see it as well, those who do not participate in the call. So we are posting it in our social areas for our employees every month.
Okay. So a couple of our intent topics for the May newsletter were standard 907.5, 907.5, and 907.6 regarding supervision during sleeping hours. Just kind of wanted to bring this up. Let's have some open discussion about that. It's important for facilities to ensure that your staff are remaining within ratio during the sleeping hours, which we know is 1 to 6. During sleeping hours, the residents, your staff should be conducting visual checks of those residents at a minimum of every 30 minutes. So these are just some things that I want you guys to be thinking about. And as we have you have your monthly meetings, or however you convey information to your staff, to make sure that they are doing that. And also to, like, our managers or quality assurance people at each facility, make sure that you're taking some time to review some overnight video footage, because you want to know what's going on and be coaching your staff and teaching your staff to make sure that they're following the regulations. And if not, maybe possibly finding out what some of those barriers may be to them completing those minimum 30-minute checks. I know I don't think anyone's on from Delta, but I know Delta put in some like wanding system. So at each of the halls, they go down and they wand. So every 30 minutes, they're required to go to the end of the hall and wand. So that's accountability that is put in place for them to go to those rooms and check on their clients. So that's just one example of something that some of the facilities are doing. Ms. Karen, how often do you require your staff to do their checks at night? I know we say a minimum of 30 minutes, but what do you guys do?
We do 15 minutes.
Okay.
I did want to ask this when I saw the newsletter. So has the ratio changed at night? You know, at one time it's 1 to 8.
I believe that is an error, Miss Karen, on the newsletter. It is 1 to 8 during sleeping
Okay, I
hours,
just
so
wanted to
it has not
confirm.
changed. That is an error in our newsletter.
Okay. We have our night shift. They do a lot of the kids' clothes. I mean, it's just a long night to sit. Our staff are supposed to be down the hall. We've got an area down the hall where they sit and have their computer. But just getting up, moving around. I'm too old to do them nights, but you know, there are still some people that are able to do it. But I also audit them every once in a while, and about every 6 months, I have to get with staff and say, you know, get up.
That's
They get a
good that you're
little,
doing that periodic. That lets them know that there is some accountability and that you are checking behind them to make sure that they're following the rules and
right.
ensuring children's
And
safety.
I try to make it clear, we're not trying to catch you doing something. Staff are just like the kids. After a while, you just kind of get relaxed and don't do the things, you know. So it's
Yes.
just have to remind them every once in a while.
Yeah. So also I would agree with that. And like for one of our other agencies, like you can tell they were really relaxed in their position because they went and found a chair that was most comfortable. Um, and they positioned it in a way that, they were asleep by a certain time of the night. So it's good that you guys are like following up on them, or just like popping in, or even just checking your cameras, like just to make sure like nobody's going to sleep and they're not getting comfortable with the blanket and a comfy chair. Um, and so yeah, just keep that in mind.
We've also put that on the nurse, and you know,
Mhm.
nurses, dear Lord, you know, because they're there, they're the supervisor. So if there is an issue, you know, it also goes back to the nurse. You know, you're supposed to be checking, you're supposed to be making sure. So that helps as well, because they don't want it to come back on them. Staff is not doing what they need to be doing.
Good point.
Thank you for sharing with us, Karen. And we talked about, we know the summertime is coming up, so let's talk. So what are some like activities that you guys may be planning for the summertime for the kids, just at your facilities, you know, for them to enjoy, you know, maybe some water splat, some water play or something like that? Because I know not everybody has the option of taking their clients off campus to go to the pools and, you know, different things like that.
Yeah, this art, we want to try to get our kids off campus a lot more this summer than we have in the past, especially after COVID. But one of the things we do have is we purchased one of those inflatable slides, I guess, that you can put water on. And some of the kids, we can put that inside our fence where the kids can be able to have some fun when it's not too hot, but yet be able to enjoy some water sports, I guess, if you will, during when it's nice weather to be able to do that. So that's one thing we do.
Mm-hmm. That sounds fun. I know it's hard to just say, let's do water balloons, because, you know, I can easily see water balloons being fun, but quickly taken out of context if somebody's, you know, feels like they were hit intentionally, you know, or something like that. So there's water guns, and I know some places have some littles, and they may enjoy like the bubbles and things like that. As part of those outdoor activities, you guys could do popsicles, you know, maybe some painting outside, just some different things that they may possibly enjoy.
This is Helena at Forest City. So one thing that we're doing this month, the end of this month, next week, we have a gaming truck coming on site. So our kids we're having a Memorial Day celebration. So we're gonna have the gaming truck, we're gonna have inflatables. The staff is gonna barbecue for the residents. They are gonna have some water activities that we do plan to do, the water balloons. We'll see how long that lasts. But we are attempting to do some different activities with them. They had a limbo contest yesterday. They did pizza with the chef Tuesday. So we have a lot of more activities just to keep our kids involved. We're learning that the more activities we have, the less incidents we have. And we're trying to keep those level of incidents down for sure.
And planning those activities gives the kids something to look forward to, like, oh, if I stay on my level, then I'll be able to attend and participate in the activities.
Yes, and we did just start our level outing. So our kids went to Little Creek? It's like a little state park that's about 14 miles up the road. They went there last week. And then our kids who are on the highest level do luncheon with the CEO every month. So we are doing some off-campus activities for our kids who are on those higher levels. And then for those kids who are on those lower levels, we're doing a lot more activities just internally on campus until we can ensure that they're safe enough to take off campus.
Okay. And those lunches with the CEO, do the kids get an input on like what the meal is with that?
Mm-hmm. And they get to pick. So we give them a list of restaurants to choose from, and they get to pick. Who are right now? We only have 2 kids there who are on our succeeding level. So of the 2, they'll pick a restaurant, and then of course when they get there, they can pick whatever they want on the menu.
All right. Thank you. So now we are to the time in our meeting where it's just open floor. This is where I want the providers to be able to ask questions about things that they may have concerns about. And if I don't have an answer for you today, then I can certainly get one and follow back up with you.
Hey, this is Art with Perimeter. I guess the question I would have is, can y'all set a time to kind of go over House Bill 1446 and how that will affect us, or how y'all interpret it? I know there's some different things to the way it was passed, but just wanted to know if y'all could give us y'all's interpretation of it.
That is actually, Ebony, is that on the next board agenda?
It is the attorneys and Misha Martin will be there to discuss that particular House bill. We can ask for a separate meeting if that's something that you would like. But they will be discussing it at the next board meeting, which is June 28th.
And then Art, I will put that on the agenda to see if we may be able to have someone as a guest speaker at the June meeting to provide additional details about that. And if you have like some specific questions about that, Art, you please feel free to send them to me.
Which bill?
Okay, thanks so much.
Which bill was it that he mentioned?
House
One-
Bill 1446. I'm sorry.
Hey, Shay, before we jump off, I wanted to, if you don't mind, just share with everyone that
Yes, go
change
ahead.
on who is going to be processing all of our child welfare checks. So I know that you all have kind of been informed. We are making a transition on the child care side under the Department of Education. And so with that transition, the placement and residential child welfare side are staying here with the Department of Human Services. So as part of that transition, one of our staff will also be transitioning and staying with them to do background checks. And so I just wanted to introduce, some of you probably have already talked to her. She was doing some child welfare checks previously. So Alicia Christopher is on the call.
Hello, everyone.
Alicia is going to be staying with Ebony and Shay and their team. She will be doing all of the background check processes for your facilities. That went into effect on the 12th. So you'll probably be getting emails from her, and you'll be getting a lot more communication from her than you were from Cynthia Smith. And so we are not making the full transition until July, and we'll still be here for questions and assistance. And Brenda and I will still be overseeing things until July, until we know more. But I just wanted to introduce to everyone that was here today so that you can kind of put a face to a name. And Alicia is going to put her contact information in the chat box just in case you don't have it. That way, if you have any questions, you can reach out to her. If any of your staff that do background checks need her information, you can share that as well. So.
Thank you, Kayla, for introducing Alicia to the group.
I do want to share this too, and this is just human error, but in the last couple of months, I've had 2 new staff that were deemed ineligible for hire. And of course, I take nothing at face value. So my first staff that was ineligible for hire, I just saw the honesty in her face, and she said, "There's nothing on my background." And so I contacted Cindy, and Cindy looked at it and she said, "Oh, there's just a date that's off." And so once that was corrected, then she was able to be hired. And then I had another gentleman that was ineligible for hire, and I called her on that. And evidently licensing had sent him a letter, and he just thought it was a letter saying, "Oh, your background's been checked." But evidently he's one of those that has to send something specific in. And so he is fine. So I just did not know that there could just be those simple errors that just need to be taken care of. So, you know, and I think I'm going to change my process a little bit because, you know, we send stuff and then we send it to Little Rock HR, and so it goes through so many hands. So I think that'll help too. But, you know, sometimes you just can't take that they're ineligible. There may be something real simple that we'll get him, get them through the process.
Yeah, and Karen, so there's a couple of things. So first of all, we did remove the notary requirement, and we hope that that will cut down a lot on those really small errors. Previously, when the notary section was still there, a lot of times it was like a date or a stamp issue, and we were having to not approve those. And so we're seeing less errors now. And so that should be a big help. The other thing to kind of help guide you is if you get a not approval within 24 to 72 hours, business hours after you submit that person, it's always going to be a data error. So they're not going to be ineligible due to something on their background check that quickly. They're going to have at least 10 business days to reach out to us. So they have a due process that they're allowed. So if it's a really quick turnaround on a not approval, you can always reach out to us. You can email, call Alicia, email or call her, give the search ID number, and she can check into it. We can look and make sure. The other thing to note is that if it's an ineligible because of something on their background, we will notify your licensing team. So you'll get a call or an email from one of Shay or Ebony's staff or them that says, this person can't be on campus. So that's kind of a good way to help determine. The other thing I would just tell applicants when they're going through the process is, if you get any type of certified mail from us that you have to sign for, make sure you keep an eye on that. Most people are fairly honest, but sometimes they don't tell you if there's anything on their background, or they think it won't show up. But if they tell you, hey, there might be something, just tell them, keep an eye out for that letter. And then of course, they can always call us if they have a concern, and we can talk with them in depth about their check, a lot more than what we can with the provider. So those are just some little tips.
What's changed with the notary?
So when you do the request for background check, the consent form, it used to be 3 pages. So the middle page would have the notary section. There's no longer a notary requirement. Okay. And so on that page, when you request it, you're only going to get 2 pages. It'll just be a signature and a date. Okay. So there's a lot less margin for error on that.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Kayla, for explaining that, because I was certainly going to tell Karen, you may want to just tell applicants during this process to, if they receive any mail, make sure that they're opening it, because a lot of times it's something simple. I know recently we've had a lot of, Alicia has sent us back a lot of people that are actually eligible, because she'll say they've reached out to me and provided information. So.
Yes, I know that now. He said he just put it to the side.
Yeah, definitely reach out anytime you have a question, or if the applicant has a question. It's hard because there's only so much that we can share. And so it's hard that we can't really send anything to you all as a provider. But if you ever have a question and you're like, this one's been provisional a little while, just give us a call, and we can let you know if we've sent them a letter requesting some additional information. So that'll help a little bit.
I have one more topic I want to talk to you guys about. We've been using ELS for a little while now, and I think we have kind of gotten a little system of how it should work. And I just wanted to know from you, from the providers, how is it, now that you've been working in it for a few months, how is it working for you all? And I guess when I refer to ELS, that's the system that you would submit your alternative compliances to, that you would submit your incident reports to as well. So when I refer to ELS, that's what I'm talking about. How is that how is that process going for you all?
This is Helena from Forest City. ELS is great for from our standpoint. For us, the only thing I wish that like Office of Long-Term Care and Disability Rights all had access to it, so we wouldn't have to submit the same report on 3 different occasions, all to DHS but different entities. But we have to still submit, you know, one to ELS, one to Disability Rights, one to Office of Long-Term Care, even though you all are under the same umbrella, DHS. So I think if they had access, that would be great.
So you're saying you're copying and paste what you put into ELS for us into their databases as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we had a system where all 3 of you all had access, like they could all access ELS, that would be great. But other than that, we have no other issues. I still can't print the 521s from previous visits. But other than that, you know, ELS is great. I really enjoy the system.
I know I saw an enhancement coming, meaning they're working on it for providers being able to print their 521s, and that was this week. So I'm sure that will be coming out. That enhancement will be coming out soon, and we'll be letting you all know.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for your feedback on ELS and how it works for you guys. And does anyone else from DCC have anything that they would like to discuss? Well, I don't have any. I've finished my agenda for the day, and I just want to tell you guys, thank you for participating in the monthly call and giving your feedback on the topics. And you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.